there. So, yes, and I'm native Wichita, graduate of Wichita State University, Washburn University School of Law. I've known Kathy for a number of years, and so I'm just happy to meet you.
I'm Vicki Cheney Little. I am a Renaissance woman. I've done a lot of things in my lifetime. But as for this, I was in the first class of the Wichita Civic Engagement Academy. I've attended the Kansas Leadership Center. Been an executive director of a nonprofit, a grant writer, also worked at Bombardier, so very similar. We've been around. I've seen lots of things and able to see them from different perspectives.
I think we're going to continue a bit of a theme here because there are some parallels. My name is Dennis Clary. It's an honor to serve alongside all of you. I'm very grateful to Councilman Johnson for appointing me to this role. I'm not a native Wichitan. I don't know what you call it, an import or a transplant, originally from Colorado, so just next door, military kid, moved around a bit. I'm a degreed engineer, came to Wichita to work for the Boeing company right before 9/11, 2001. So an interesting start to my career in that sector. Spent 12 years with Boeing until they decided to leave our community. Inflection point in my career, decided to stay here, grow my family. Been doing a number of things since. Worked for the Kansas Leadership Center for a couple of years. Also an alumni of the Civic Engagement Academy. Have served on District 5 DAB I just began my second term. So no stranger to local governance, local government, local community stuff. What else can I tell you? I have a boy that's 8 going into 3rd grade and a daughter that's 5 going into kindergarten out in the Goddard School District. And yeah, Wichita's home and thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Good. Well, this is my second meeting, so hi, Dennis. And hi, everybody, I'm back. I'm Constance Paraska, and I represent District 6 from Maggie Ballard. So city government is brand new to me, but I'm signed up for the Civic Engagement Academy. Okay, my background, I'm native Wichitan. I love Wichita, raised here, kids here, WSU. I'm what they call now an entrepreneur. So I started out as an entrepreneur, then I spent 20 years pharmaceutical sales and training. And then, gosh, 8 years ago, I started my own company, Retreat to Joy. I teach joy and peace. I teach mindfulness skills and practices that you discover your own inner joy and peace. And I am so glad to be on this board and doing my best.
And Dennis and I have known each other for a long time now. Yeah, young professionals in Wichita. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. I'm saying hi. This is Piper. She'll be 1 at the end of the month. I also have 4-year-old Zoe, and I own a law firm here in town. I've been out on my own like 3 years ago. Left my firm and hung my shingle and brought on 2 other attorneys, and we just tore down a wall today to double the size of our office. So it's exciting. We're growing, and been on this board since it started. I'm Whipple's appointment, and then I still have like almost 2 years left to do. I think that's it.
Good job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's all I got. You know everything else.
Yeah.
So Kathy Sexton, I'm the ethics officer. So I'm the one here who doesn't have a vote, but tries to do the back staff work, so to speak, between Maddie and I. She does a lot of it. But I am available to the council members, the mayor, and any of the members of the board. And sometimes I get calls from city employees with questions. What I bring to you all are the actual official filed complaints to go through and adjudicate. And then as I was explaining to some of the council members, I did 4 council briefings this afternoon on the policy changes that we're recommending for the council meeting on August 13th. Explaining to some of them, you know, you can talk to me anytime in confidence, because as the ethics officer, I'm here to give advice and interpret the code, because people who are trying to like not violate it and they're reading it and they want help. So I just wanted to say that out loud because I wanted to make sure you guys know that. And I told them, I don't bring everything to the board because if it's something I can figure out, I tell them on the fly so they can not have to wait for a board meeting. But if ever there's things I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure about this, that's what I would bring to the board. And we've not had a whole lot of that, but I think some of them just had the training. You know, the new board members were just started office in April and May, and so they were told they have to do the Coma training, which is sitting down watching a video, and you may have done that. And then the ethics training that we updated that video last year. So everybody who gets appointed to any of the boards of the city is supposed to watch that training. And so when they do, sometimes they have questions. You can tell who's doing the training. So, but no, I served over 30 years in public service. Kind of like Lucretia's story, I was at all levels. I started out with a state job, then a county job, and then a city management job. So I was assistant county manager here at Sedgwick County. And then in 2006, went to Derby as city manager and served 16 years. So retired at the end of 2021 from that. And since then, this past 2.5 years, I've been doing interim work, project work like this for Wichita, Sedgwick County, Goddard, Mays, Poisington, Mulvane. We're about to do one in Hutchinson and another Mays, a couple nonprofits, some orientation of new elected officials, a lot of that, and helping staff because there's so much turnover right now. There's a lot going on. So I wanted something different when I left Derby, and I'm getting it. Something different every week. But it's kind of fun too, because you're going in and out of different communities and, you know, can see different things. And so I'm having fun. John.
I'm John Newman, and I'm the attorney for the board. City of Wichita hired me to practice the attorney for the board. I'm a partner at a law firm called Knight, Fanning and Honeyman. I've been there and in its previous configuration, it's 8 years. So I don't have quite the diversity in background in terms of experience, although I guess loyalty is referred to. But I've been practicing law about 30 years, and so I advise the board and assist in investigations, things like that.
Yeah. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but when the city decided to staff this board, they didn't want to have city staff doing it because it's like Bob Layton reports to the people who this board is about, so that would not be kosher. And so third party made sense, but it's kind of the same way for their legal department, because as the lawyers there represent the city council. So when an individual council may or may not be doing something wrong or unethical, they need her advice, so she can't give us advice too. So, but I think Jennifer might have called you, or you responded to her request for a proposal or something, because you have background in ethics, right? Yeah. Yeah.
He just possesses it.
I was gonna say, there's a board, you're a part of this, but I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, you do. You have more background in this kind of work than a lot of other
I've
attorneys do.
done a lot of work for.
And then our other board member is the superintendent of Goddard Schools. Your kids are Goddard Schools, right? Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
We
he
just
joined.
started. Justin Henry, Dr.
Yes.
Justin Henry. His first meeting was last month, and then we had to change this meeting date. It was supposed to have been last week, and he couldn't make it
Is
this
that
week.
a large position or with a certain district?
He's District 4,
District 4.
Dalton Glasscock. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
He lives on Wichita.
So now we're only one down, right?
Yep, just District 1 is vacant.
Have to step down because they're running for judge.
Let's see.
You're
So does that
District
mean one
1,
of
so
them
is
can
it
come
District
back?
5?
Yeah.
District 5.
Uh-huh.
District 1 is vacant.
District
Potentially 2 of them, really.
Johnston,
Oh, Johnston.
not
Okay,
yet.
so the agenda's wrong, because I put D1 on it. You're JB Johnston.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay,
District 5 out west, yes.
okay. Yeah, when you said Goddard, I thought,
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
connect. I was thinking Brandon Johnson. Okay, so
Also
B1
different.
is still open.
Correct.
Okay. Boy, I have that all mixed up. Okay, so how about a quick vote on the minutes? We do the minutes kind of a little bit different, but trying to summarize what actions are taken and get through with links. I love the minutes because people can look online and link to things. So Maddie does a great job with those, but any questions or changes to the minutes, any concerns?
Move to adopt.
Motion by Kelly and second by Vicky. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain,
I should abstain.
why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 to 0 to 1. One abstention. Okay, now, Lucretia, you have the honors of making the, if you don't mind, a motion to executive session.
Okay. I move that the Ethics Advisory Board recess into its executive session for 20 minutes to receive the information and legal advice on an ethics complaint pursuant to KSA 754-319B2. For legal consideration with an Ethics Advisory Board's legal counsel, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship for legal advice. This executive session is required to protect the attorney-client privilege and the public interest. This executive session on the matter will begin at 6:15 and will end at
6:35.
6:35. And then the Ethics Advisory Board meeting will resume here in the Ortega A meeting.
And a second. Vicky seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are recessed. What's that? close enough to being ready.
So I recommend that we adopt the report of ethics complaint 20.
The thing that we come back first from the meeting.
Last line of your,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Let the record show that no binding action was taken in executive.
and does anybody want to make any motions at this time?
I motion that we adopt the report on ethics complaint 2024-09 as the findings of the ethics advisory.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed and abstain?
One extension.
4-0 to 1. Thank you all for that, and we will post that report tomorrow on the city's website, so everyone will be aware of that background and decision of the board. The next thing we have on the agenda is the status report on converting the policy into an ordinance. So the policy on the ethics code was passed by the council, created for brand new in 2021. Last year, March 2023, after some work with it and on it, this board recommended some edits, clean it up, tighten it up. Just as you start working with a brand new thing, you figure out some of that. Then the board did all these 8 complaints, and we learned more things, but also the council asked us for it to not be a policy anymore, but be an ordinance, which is just a higher level. An ordinance is a law of the city. A policy can be changed at any time. An ordinance is a little harder to change. It's going to be a public hearing, a first reading, second hearing. I mean, it's more public. And so they asked us to convert that. So they're attorneys, and you all have gone over this several times. We're on version 11 now. So, and it's looking pretty good, but I did brief 4 city council members today individually, because, you know, it's really new. 3 of them are new, 3 of the 7 are brand new. So, learning about things, and then we'll brief others. But I also got scheduled for the August 13th city council meeting, and that'll be a first reading because an ordinance takes 2 readings. I'll go back on August 20th. You all are welcome to attend or watch the meeting. You don't have to. I'll represent you there and walk through some of the changes. It's all good. I will say there might be a couple little edits to this ordinance as I'm looking through it again. I'm realizing I don't think we put in there anywhere to like repeal the old policy. We put to repeal the old ordinance. And so I'll go back to city legal and ask them, is repealing council policy 39 something we put in the ordinance, or is it like a separate motion? So we'll see about that. And then let me find my notes from earlier, because there's one thing I need to bring up, I think. Yes. No, you don't have the policy in front of you, do you? Let me get copies out. If you have the policy draft from last meeting, and if you don't, I got a few copies and just pass it back to you. And if you 2 don't mind sharing that one, and you 2 sharing that one, then we're going to refer you to page 6.
Not sure what version, but probably pretty similar.
So it's the 1, 2, 3 at the top. These are the exceptions to the gift provision. And I got asked a really good question in one of the briefings today. So if you look at 2 and 3, what's the difference between them? And do we need them both, or should we shorten it down and take one of them out?
And just combine them.
Yeah, I mean, you could. To me, I thought they were different. And then when I started really looking at it, I thought, well, are they different? The first one is written like, if you're asked by like National League of Cities or some association, some nonprofit, some organization, or even faith-based organization, right? If you're requested that you be there as a city council member, and then the council member may accept complimentary food and admission to the event. So say it's a fundraiser of a nonprofit, so there's a ticket price to get in. But they request that you attend, and so they give you complimentary attendance, right? So that all makes sense, but then when you go to 3, it's like, okay, all the difference is you're attending a meeting or event when, again, your presence is requested and you can accept complimentary food. So do we need 3?
3 sounds like a repetition of
Yeah,
2 to me.
it does. Yeah, I
It sounds
did too.
redundant.
In fact, let me look at the current policy and make sure that we didn't miss something in the, as we.
That sentence is exactly the same.
It is, isn't it? I thought
It
that
is
was a really-
exactly the same.
So maybe we.
Let's see.
2 feels like it has more specificity than
Yeah.
3.
Mhm.
It goes to the fidelity of calling out the potential entities that could form the meeting. I don't know if that's necessary or not. The only other difference I see is it talks about it 2 complimentary food and admission, suggesting that there's a cost incurred to attend, where 3 doesn't say admission.
So the current policy has the first one, which is if you're being given an honor or an award, then the honor or award cannot exceed $150 of value. But then it has council and mayor may attend events hosted by all these different groups. When requesting the presence of an official, such an organization may compensate the member for food and admission to the event. The third one, it's currently says, further, members may have food compensated when their presence is requested to attend a meeting or event. I don't think we need 3. I don't see any reason in the old document that we've missed or changed or.
Would you want to put the word meeting in 2 to
Meeting.
include event and meeting?
Yeah,
And then
that's a good catch.
my next curiosity is, if you go to the level of identifying the different, nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, et cetera,
Yeah.
do you risk not mentioning a specific entity and then
Something else,
somebody
yeah.
could find a loophole of, well, I attended this, it's not any one of these that's specifically called out. I guess what I'm asking is, would it be better to keep it generic? By just saying attending a meeting or an event and excluding the different call outs? I don't know.
That's a good.
Well, substantively, I would tell you, when the
Well,
council
yeah.
first created it, they came up with that list of all those different things.
I think it is important to have the list because it.
You could do that, just you put the language, maybe including but not limited to.
Yeah, feels-
Cover it, all of these things so that they know.
I think they
Sound
list.
like a lawyer.
Yeah. Oh, you lawyers. I honestly, I can go back to the original, maybe ask Dante and Jennifer who were around in 2021. My impression is they listed all those for a very, very specific reason, because even though that covers a lot of ground, it's not everything. It doesn't say a business.
So if you include 3, it doesn't specify anything. And
Exactly.
would appear to apply to any meeting. So
Yeah, without any definition, 3 would say it's
it makes
okay.
it pointless specifying anything in the previous
Yeah.
paragraph.
Right,
Yeah.
3 feels more broader.
Yeah.
So if you leave 3, the overall probably interpretation would be that it applies to any meeting, even though you specify some in 2. If you take out 3, but if you're limited only to those lists,
Yeah.
so we have to decide, or somebody has to decide whether that rules to apply only to those specified in 2. Or you need 3 to make it apply to virtually any meeting,
Who would it apply to? Yeah.
any meeting, according to 3. As long as they're invited, well, it doesn't even say invited. All you have to do is attend a meeting and you can get.
No, they have to be invited. It's at which their presence is requested.
Oh, yes.
Both of them have that in it,
Yeah, they do.
and then the old version too.
Okay, so anything they're invited to.
Okay.
Satisfies, so,
Unless I find when I go back to the original, and then I'll talk to Dante and Jennifer about the original intent. And if they don't come up with something different as to why we need 3, we'll go ahead and eliminate 3, because it is very broad
yeah, it would apply.
and
to
it's
any meeting.
duplicative.
Yeah.
Duplicative in a way.
It destroys.
What
the-
2 does is it makes them sit there and go, okay, is this a nonprofit? Is this an educational, like, like a, Like if he's going to like a League of Cities or something and going to seminars and things like that, or political or policy-based organizations. Well, political, okay, this is
Yeah.
the local chapter of the Democratic Party or something. If my presence is requested, it's okay that I eat their food. If they're charging admission for something, but my presence is requested because they want me to speak or be something, well then I'm not gonna have to pay to get in. I think the council was very, when they first set this all up, I think they were very concerned about that because they go to things all the time. Just to, be representative, but not wanting to dip into either city funds or their pocket to have to pay to go. Okay, so thank you for that. I'll either take out 3, but first I'll talk to Jennifer and Dante and look at the original just to make sure we didn't lose anything.
Be sure and tell them that, take out 3.
You take out 3, add meeting. Or event, maybe.
Yes,
Yeah, take out 3, it will be, the way statutes are interpreted, it would be specifically limited only to those events delineated here, because that's how, if you're specific by exclusion of other events, they would not be. These are not listed.
so in other words, if a business asks me to something and they pay for my food,
Could be a bit.
then that would be applicable to the rules. The rules are, you can accept something $49 and less, or less, without reporting it anywhere. And if it's over it's $50 or more, then you put it on your form. So every year, every official has a form. At the end of the year, you say, okay, I went to this event, but this business paid for my admission. But it was, $52 or $150 maximum for one organization. So if I'm gonna go to a monthly meeting, one business or one individual, one person wants to take me to lunch every month, I'm probably gonna be more than $150. So that's how they would, doesn't say you cannot go, it just says if it's $49 or less, you don't have to report it anywhere. But if it's a cumulative 150, cumulative 150, the on number 5, page 5, item K is avoid the appearance of improper influence and refrain from ever receiving, soliciting, or accepting a gift valued over $150 from a donor over a 1-year period of time. So don't go, don't take it, don't take that much. Go to lunch a couple times with the business, but not too many times,
No check.
or an individual.
No shit.
Yeah, be careful if you go to dinner, because with the prices the way they're rising, yeah, $50 doesn't go as far as it used to. Okay, and I think that was the main one where I sat there and I went, I think we might have missed that, so. And I think that was. Oh, and I would tell you guys, the other thing that we talked about a little bit was the city council voting. So if there's a question, some of you may remember the Eagle did a story on when the brand new Mayor Lily Wu was asked to be a part of some international group of folks, I think women, mayors going to like Switzerland or Sweden or somewhere. And so the question in the paper, I think, was sort of like, is this ethical for you to take this trip being paid for that? And the way we put, it's a little unclear, right? But if you look at the clause you just put, well, it's an educationalist, is it a nonprofit, is it a policy-based organization? Obviously, it's over $150 though. But the one we added with the input of the city attorney and the internal auditor is on page 5. I think it's probably marked on your copy. It's in the middle of paragraph K. I think I marked it new in there. It says any gift not authorized by this subsection may be authorized by city council by majority vote. Which means if you go through the whole policy and you can't figure it out and you call me and you say, Kathy, and I go through the whole, I'm not sure I know how this applies. The way to get out of it is basically go to the council and have them vote. I think there was a little thing in the news a while back too about county commissioners, which this doesn't apply to, but county commissioners taking flight to somewhere to look at something. And it taking a flight, meaning they didn't buy a ticket on a commercial airline, it was a private jet was taking them to this thing. And the question was, is that ethical? And the answer is, well, if you take it to a county commission meeting and everybody votes and says, we want you to do this, we're being transparent, that's the same spirit. So we put that in this document so that if there's ever anything that isn't clearly interpreted as being allowed or not allowed by this policy, the city council can cure that with a vote. And so typically that's what they do with travel. Most councils that, had a little experience with that. If you want to travel somewhere, you put it on your agenda and you tell the public, we're going to Washington DC and here's what we're doing. And we're using the city's money to pay for that trip. Here's why we're going for city business. And as long as you're transparent about it, it makes sense. So we added that in just so that if we couldn't give them a good answer and the policy can't give them a good answer, then the city council can figure it out. And usually these issues are about city council, especially traffic. They're about council members. So if they ever feel like, hey, I'm not sure if I can go to this or not, well, then tell your colleagues about it and get them to vote.
Yeah.
Because if the majority says it's okay, we want you to go to that, well, then that's fine. So that is the scoop. I don't know where my agenda is. And I think we are ready for a motion to adjourn unless anybody has anything else.
I move to adjourn.
Our next meeting,
Kelly has moved to adjourn.
next meeting what time?
The next meeting is listed on the agenda. It's August 8th here. If we don't need that, we look into it. As you all know, the report issued tonight, we'll give them 7 days to respond. If they appeal it, then we'll have that meeting, right? And if anybody knows you cannot come, you already know we have a conflict, or if it's a conflict, let us know. Because if we need to reschedule, we have to try to do that. Piper says, it's time to adjourn. Piper is eating the foot of her dog.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Vicky. Vicky seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And 5-0, we are adjourned at 6:52.